I do. I have to ask, man. Like, I know you've been working with George now for a little bit. He's a legend. We've always heard about him working with the giants in the bodybuilding industry, but never necessarily men's physique athletes. Like, so how was that experience for you?
Like I approached George, because I know George. I met him a few times at the Olympia. I met him at the Honor Classic UK. Hey man, what's up?
What up, Drew?
What's up, brother? How you
Right.
doing?
Good, good, good. How you doing, man? Good.
Good, man. Congrats on the Olympia qualification.
Thank you, bro. Thank you so much.
Your
Thank you.
look was amazing, bro. Best I ever seen you. You look great.
Appreciate it, bro.
Ali Bilal,
What's up, champ?
what's going down, man?
Yeah,
Two
bro. How
champs
you
in the
doing?
building.
Oh, yeah.
Wow,
You
you,
hiding
you
yourself,
secure
huh?
just a little bit. you you secured
We're
your spot this year,
we're a big share,
Pittsburgh
bro.
Pro, huh?
Yeah, man.
Pretty
It was
big, huh?
about. Yeah, I wanted to qualify a bit earlier so I had enough time to improve for, later this year. Because if you want to do a show like September later on, you don't have enough time you bring actually the same package to Olympia, there's no point in
Exactly.
doing that. So this was like one of the first shows that I could pick. And I did this one. Now I have 6 months time just to go back home and improve.
Yeah, and with again working with George, you mentioned you were with him for 12 weeks. That's not a lot of time with a new coach. Can you explain a little bit more about that experience and how that relationship started?
Yeah, like George, my old coach, my first coach, Ferdi from Belgium, like that was my first ever coach, and George had a similar way of working, like my old coach did. So I knew like how he worked because he was also very like same type of food, not a lot of protein powders and all these stuff. So it's like real food, and my
Hmm.
body reacts really really good on that. And like not every time I eat like this cream of rice stuff, I get this bloated stomach, and that's what happened last times. So George had the same way of working like I used to do. So my old coach, he stopped working as a coach. He got sick and stuff. So I went to Stefan, boss of Adler.
Hmm.
Didn't really work out. So and then I asked George to after Olympia, I asked him like I really need a coach and I want you to help me. So George said, "Yes, let's do it." I took a 2 months off, no training, nothing. Like he just said, "Don't do anything, just get your blood test." I didn't eat any proteins, like stuff, only really greens and carbs. Very like
Damn.
got everything back on track. Did a PCT blood work. I started, I think, somewhere in February. So yeah, and then we just said like let's start and see how it works, how our body reacts. But like after 4 weeks, I was already like 6% body fat. And then he said, "Yeah,
Mhm.
now we can do it." Because when you take a break, the body reacts
Yeah.
really fast.
Yes,
And
and
and I never
that
That's
was
the
took a
same
break like for
situation I'm
four
in right
years.
now.
yeah,
Yeah,
Same
but
like
situation we're in.
same thing. I'll be honest, man. Like personally, the fact that you said that, it kind of hit me, right? I'm young. I'm young in this sport, so I had to
yeah,
learn a lot of things the hard way. And I'll be honest, this is the first time I've come off of, you know,
yeah.
some
Like
PEDs.
I went completely off, like no training. 2 months I didn't even touch weights. I didn't even went to the gym. Nothing, I didn't even train, nothing. In the beginning it was hard. I kind of lost it, but after 2, 3 weeks it felt so nice. I didn't even want to go to the gym
Normal.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Get that normal life a little bit, man.
Yeah, man, it was so nice. I got engaged. I got married in 2 months' time. So
Congrats.
it was a bit like I started to feel a normal human. And then when I started back, I was so motivated. And every day you trained, you come home, you felt the pump. Like now we train
Yep.
every day, we don't see it anymore. We get so used to
Right.
it. But like when you take a long break and then you go to the gym, you train, you see the pump every time you come back home. You're like, oh shit, I see improvements. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
You
happened.
in the post show interview, you mentioned that this was the easiest prep that you've ever had in your life. Can you explain a little bit more? I'm sure that has to do with some of the stuff that you did before, but
Yeah.
throughout the process of the prep, like how
So
was that so easy?
cardio, like I started cardio like I think 6 weeks out. In the beginning, I just walked, like 30-minute walk in the morning, like just for health. But then I did like 25 minutes, started with 25-minute cardio. I went max to 35 minutes, like 2 weeks. And then we dropped back the cardio like to 20 minutes. So I only had to wake up, 20-minute bike, and that was it. And I had like 5 meals with carbs. Only like last 2 meals I had no carbs. And last year,
It sounds
man,
like someone I know.
Yep.
Sounds
last
like a
year,
coach I know.
man, I used to do fucking 100, like 180 minutes of cardio. So like
Whew.
morning 1 hour, and then
Hun-
post workout half an
Jesus.
hour, and then evening like I went like a 1 hour walk,
Yeah, 3
but the
hours a
body
day.
didn't react,
Damn.
man. The body didn't react, and then I was like almost low carbs. The weight just got stuck, and I was
Yeah.
90 kg at the Olympia weigh-in. 90 kg is how much? I was 2 kilo overweight
Oh wow.
at the
Damn.
Olympia, and
But
now
the
I
thing
was
is,
I was I was
188.
yeah, now I was 3 kilo underweight. Like I was 85 kg on the weigh-in.
the
So
thing is, man, and seeing your body step on the Pittsburgh Pro stage and kind of hearing what you're saying with the coaching, the switching, the letting the body relax, rest, recover, refocus. Bro, you brought a really refreshed look. Your body looked healthy.
exactly.
This is probably the best I've probably ever seen you. And like I've been telling these guys, and literally last podcast, I had you and Vitor one. Of course, I put Vitor in front. And the thing is, as soon as I got off of that podcast that day, I had messaged these guys. I said,
Yep.
I don't know. I just see Ali
Yep.
Bilal's check in. This dude might bring it. And the thing is, bro, like, and I'm gonna say this on here because I think right now you probably have one of the best front shots that I've seen
Thank
in
you,
a
bro.
while.
Means a lot. Yeah,
In a
means a
while.
lot. I just had a posing with Tyler, and I just came from the gym. And he told George after the prejudging that I had to do like you have a picture on the in the back on the for the podcast. He said I had to do this side, and George told me I misunderstood. I thought the other side, so I
Yeah.
kept in the final. I only posed the other side, and
It's
then
like
Tyler just told me like, why don't you listen to me? I told you have to pose this side.
I
So I
did
was like,
notice that. I did
yeah.
notice you're very symmetrical, but you do have a side to where everything really
Yeah,
just
yes,
yeah.
comes
On
together
that
a lot
side,
more.
he said you have more deeper obliques. He said no
you
one
do.
has that.
It's
So
the other
that
side.
yeah,
It's the other
That
side.
that's such a unique trait in itself. The fact that you're able to pose on both sides
Yeah.
still so comfortably. Like, I don't think people realize. Like, if I were to try to pose on my right side,
Yeah, I can't do it.
I would look like ridiculous. I'd
It's
look
like
yeah.
writing with my left hand.
It makes it
exactly.
easier, when you can go switch from front to another front. Also, when you
My-
in the front pose, when you're standing too long, you get tired. When in the
yes.
lineup, for example, they put you too far away to the right, you can turn other side so your waist look too small. If you put
Yep.
you this
Yeah.
side, you can turn this side, so your waist still looks small. So
Ambidextrous posing.
yeah,
Yes. Good
It
way to put
works
it.
for
Part.
you.
I saw when you and Vitor were out there for the final two. We'll get into the Pittsburgh Pro in a quick second, but we got so many questions. But when you were out there for the final two, Vitor kind of opened up to a front shot to show his side of oblique. But then I saw you, as soon as he opened up, kind of turn.
yeah.
Is there like a science behind it? Like, were you trying to match your front shot with his, maybe expose his obliques, something like that?
Because no, that was still the misunderstanding with Tyler
Okay.
telling me
Yeah.
do this side. I thought,
Yeah.
but actually Tyler meant that the side I was already standing. But it's just when you pose with someone front and you can do both side, it shows you have nothing to hide. Like there's no like bad
But
side
I
or good
also
side.
do wanna point this out. There is a very select few human beings in men's physique that can pose both sides. And there's a lot of guys who try to pose both sides and it actually hurts
It don't
them
work.
because
Yep.
they're not as symmetrical as one side to the other. So and like you said, you're one of those guys who can play both sides because those obliques, bro, that front shot is that shit is
Bro,
sick. It just is what it is. I can't even knock
thank
it. I can't be like, I
means
can't
a
hate
lot.
on it. That shit is sick.
Bro, it
And
means a lot.
the thing is, man, a lot, and just to the amateurs out there, practice one side first before you start
Exactly.
trying to do both sides. That's only little thing I
like
wanted to throw out there.
like a lot of people try and do Ryan Teddy's pose, like the front thing, like do this. I don't even do that. Like I have pretty okay small waist and very like straight abs. If I do, it's gonna look like Ryan Teddy's abs too. But
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable with. I know what looks good, so I do that. But I
Yeah,
see a lot of guys with big waist and doing this pose, holding their hands like this. It
Yes.
looks good on
Yeah, Superman.
a lot of guys like,
certain
but
people.
not on
No, not a
everyone.
lot of guys. Not a lot of guys.
There's
Certain
only there's only like
certain
5
guys.
pros that could pull off a Superman. I'd
That's
say
it.
Andre,
On Diego's it
Diogo.
looks good.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, Diogo. You got who else? Ryan Terry. I mean, Daniel Ammons could pull it off, and then they do that tilt too, and it just looks lights out. But not everybody can do it, and a lot of these amateurs they'll look at guys that don't
yeah.
have the same structure, but they're trying to do it, and it's just hurting them because you might
Yeah.
look better with a hand on hip. For me, I
Exactly.
got
Yeah,
to do a hand on hip. You
yeah,
have a
yeah, yeah.
longer torso. So you doing a hand on hip just makes you look that much more complete. Like if you were to do
Exactly.
a Superman pose, I'm sure you would still look good, but I don't think that it would be as good as your main pose right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, amateurs
Yeah.
amateurs coming up, man. Take this as a note. I understand you watch a lot of the pros out there and you want to kind of mimic what they do. Again, not everybody can do the peekaboo guys, right? Not everybody can do, what Drew does. Not everybody can do what Ali does. Not everybody has those obliques. Pose to your
Right.
strengths, right? Don't expose yourself. There's a lot of people out there who initiate their own self-inflicted wounds, right? Do your research, take some time, get the judge's feedback, and make sure you dissect it. Now, obviously, the Pittsburgh Pro was probably the show of the year thus far. A lot of hype going into it, a lot of big names on it. I'm gonna let Drew kind of do his thing, but I want to start off. I know Drew, you like typically starting off with first place, but I want to talk about these guys, man. This was one hell of a lineup, and a lot of these guys showed up.
Oh, absolutely. So first and foremost, the Pittsburgh champ. We have Ali Bilal, who won the President's Show. Big statement. I personally think you single-handedly had the most impressive physique I've seen all year on stage out of any pro show.
Thank you.
You
Fair.
peaked perfectly. You're a professional. You held your poses. And even with the misunderstanding from Tyler, you still hit both poses perfectly. And
thank
like you said, like whether you're on either side, I mean, you're still catering, being a professional, working with where you're at and catering to what the head judges want. So I know we talked a little bit about your diet and how it was different, finding the right coach. It seems like that break really helped you. And for a lot of people watching this, one step back could really make the difference into going into the future. You got to make sure that mindset's right. If your body's not responding, like you said, you're doing, 180 minutes of cardio, 3 hours a day. I mean, you're looking your absolute best at 1/10 of that. So
exactly. Yeah,
that says a lot. Sometimes less is more when it comes to this sport, and you have to build up that metabolism. You have to give your body break to have those receptors kind of just kind of have a break from just the sport. So especially
yeah.
being competitors. Another thing I want to say before we get into this lineup is a lot of guys underestimate taking the break and the time off. And I'll be the first person to admit that I was absolutely wrong with my predictions. I had you in fourth, and that was just based on what I have seen in the past. I know you look crazy on Instagram, and there's a lot of guys that do look good on Instagram and then come in and then something happens. But I did have you in fourth before
Nah, but they
even
didn't look
seeing
that
you what you
good.
look like.
They didn't look that good. I'm
No,
gonna tell you
no,
right now.
but
That's why
I
I messaged
watched.
y'all after that
Yeah,
podcast. I said, bro, this dude look crazy as hell right now.
yeah,
But
yeah.
go
But
ahead,
I
Drew.
will, I will
You
admit,
cannot know. You can only see what, like from the last show.
Yeah,
You cannot
absolutely.
know what person have done, the changes they have made. And bodybuilding is crazy sport. Last year in Pittsburgh, I was really, really good. I was fucking good. When I came backstage, I was so dry. I took off my shirt. I went for glaze. My coach told me to drink 250 ml Gatorade with 2 grams of salt. The moment I drink that fucking drink, it looked like I gained 10 kgs.
Fuck.
The
wow,
moment, like
okay.
it happened in, I think, 1 minute. I went to the same mirror back to do my front pose. I couldn't flex, I couldn't see my abs anymore. My
But that's
back
good
skin went thicker
information.
and thicker.
You
It's
never
good
make that mistake
information
again.
though,
Ada,
because
So
you'll never do it again. And
Ada.
you know for your body what you need, and obviously you put that all together at this show. And very impressive look. You exposed the entire lineup with not only conditioning, but posing, your shape, holding everything, holding your poses, you're never out of a pose. And if you did adjust, it was switching to that other side, and you held that just as good as you were holding the other side. So, I mean, this is a big show, man, and you pulled it off. And I know Alex and Aaron both had Vitor winning on paper, but this gives you a lot of momentum going into
Thank
future shows, into the
you.
Olympia.
Peter
You're gonna
looked crazy
definitely.
good too, bro. He was
He did
good.
look good. You just look better, and you exposed his weaknesses. Now Vitor has a great shape and back.
Great back, yeah.
It just you peaked that much better, and this is the interesting thing about men's physique. It could just be a difference in a day or a couple hours and just putting it all together. For me, when I won Chicago, I wasn't the biggest guy. I didn't have the best back, but I was the standard of condition. So people were moved around from me, and I exposed people that were bigger than me that had what I lacked, but I also showed in a really statement like fashion that conditioning did reign supreme that day. And you did the exact same thing, but with massive improvements from Olympia. And a lot of guys aren't taking the breaks that they needed. You're
Yeah.
another guy that came out after taking an off season, figuring out what you need to do to be better. And you did that. And look where you're at right now. So a lot of momentum going into this year, man. I'm excited to see more. Definitely going to see you in back in that top 10, top 12 spot, the Olympia. I know it's going to be even more competitive, but with that package, you're definitely back where you were in
I got
2022 with improvements.
I got 6 months now, like really, and I'm so motivated, like you have all the time and you have the right coach. I just had like a 12 weeks with him. So I have now 6 months, just go back
Yeah,
home and
it's crazy.
just put into work. I don't have to stress about anything. You're just going into a show with winning a show this big, it motivates you a lot. And you know how to
For sure.
peak
Absolutely.
and you don't have to stress about your peak or anything. So all I have to do, like Tyler, I just talked to Tyler, he said, you have to work, your back has improved. But I only had 12 weeks, so I could improve that much. Now I have 6 months, so if I go back home, I'll be much more motivated. And coming from a third call out to, winning a show, going to a show,
Yep.
the improvement is gonna be much better because when you are hyped, you train harder, you work harder, and it's gonna make a difference hopefully in six
It was
months.
Absolutely.
deserved, man. It was
Yeah.
deserved. So get to enjoy some
Facts.
life a little bit, and then you get right back to it.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
All right, we got Vitor coming in a second. Like I said, he was probably the favorite on paper. Current ninth ranked Olympian. And listen, at the end of the day, Vitor, I don't think it was his 100% version of himself. I thought he brought one hell of a package. I think we talked about this of him going into the show where it's going to be making sure his midsection stays tight and less distended. And not the best show to not necessarily nail that with Ali standing next to him,
Yes.
especially in a 2-on-2 or comparison. So
Yep.
Vitor again, he looked good, like you said. His shape, his wow factor, to me personally, his lats. He has insane lats that wrap around.
You have like a
Insane.
straight, nice X factor, like
Yeah,
really, really
man.
good shape.
Such a pretty unique physique, and
It
again,
is.
I even think he has great. I think he has a good midsection when it's on. Like I've
When
competed
it's
with him
on.
multiple times. Like it just, one little thing can throw off his midsection. Same thing with me. Very similar thing.
I would say something like midsection is something you cannot build it. The more you train it, the more out of hand it goes. I never
Yeah,
train my abs, so it's something that you cannot train. The more you train it, the more they're gonna get bulky and the uglier it looks. So if you want to have deeper cuts in your abs, you gotta train them, and then what happens? They're gonna come out because the muscle is gonna get thicker. And Vitor already have thick abs. It's like very
yeah,
Really
thick,
thick out.
and there's only few. And if he's gonna train them to improve them, the only thing he can do to like really come tight waist is to stop eating like at least 4 hours, like not eat backstage, and you see them eating this rice cakes and this kind of stuff. So have really, really like a tight waist is gonna make his maybe his fullness a little bit less. But if he comes like a bit fasting, let's say,
yeah. Hmm.
if he carb up good like the last 3 days before the show, because he's
He could
also
afford
short,
it.
he's also
Yeah.
not tall. He's like I think one category under me, like height. height wise. So if he, I think, carb up's good like 3 days before the show, and last day he just eats very small meals and stops like 4 hours before, his abs are gonna be very much tight. His waist is gonna look much more tighter. So what happens? He's gonna try to, look fuller and eat like close to the show.
And I
But
don't
you know
think he
that.
needs to look fuller anyways. The guy
Yeah,
is a
exactly. He
full
already
guy.
looks really, really full
You
for his.
know, he has the size. The
Yeah,
size is
exactly.
there.
Yeah. So I
So
think if he stops eating like 4 hours before or something, or the last day eat very small meals, so his waist look very, very tight. That's the only thing he can do, I think.
Yeah, no, and I couldn't agree more. I think you could really see the distension mainly through his back shots as well. Like when he
Yeah.
faced the curtains, that's when you could see it as well. So it's it's more bloating or something just not necessarily sitting right when it's that distended from the back.
Yeah.
Like and that's when it was clear. But even yet and still, man, Vitor is he is such a unique and phenomenal physique. The fact that he was in that top two with something that was, pretty glaring, it kind of speaks a statement. And keep in mind, guys, we had 5 Olympians. We had 3 qualified already 2024 Olympians, 2 previous, top, 10 Olympians, well, 1 current. So it's no slouch that this lineup is on point, right? And even yet and still with Vitor being quote unquote off version of himself, he still found himself in second place. He does have that round, bubbly physique. He still has that unique men's physique taper. Again, a little bit more dense, I guess you would say. Also very balanced from top to bottom in terms of leg development, something that they're definitely looking for in the men's physique division this year. I just think that, in 2 weeks he could easily, or next week now, he can easily fix that midsection distension and could bring a completely different package to New York. So
Exactly. Yeah.
again, the best thing about the quote unquote issues that he had at this time, it's all controllable. It's
Yeah.
very
A
easily
lot can
fixable.
happen. A lot can change in like in a week. Because
Yeah.
once you compete and you have this stress factor too. You don't know where you're gonna place, how you're gonna
Yeah.
look. And then you do the second show, like me going to New York Pro is like, I don't give a fuck, to be honest. I'm so relaxed. I sleep 9 hours now after the
That's when
show,
you
10
look better,
hours.
though. You look
Yeah,
better
I
when you
sleep
do
10
that. There's
hours.
no
I don't
stress.
care. I am zero stress. Like,
Hell yeah.
I don't care. Because love me coming from fifth place to Pittsburgh, it was very stressful, and now I don't care. So I think Victor, he knows he was second. So he's going for the first place, and he can only get better. He have nothing to lose.
Hmm.
And he know what
And
he
again,
did wrong and what he did wrong and what he can do better. So it's gonna make. I think a week is difficult to improve like something, but I think he can come dry.
yeah,
It's
Like if you
harder,
can come a
drier.
little bit
Yeah.
drier and harder in one week, that could change a lot.
he has one of the best men's physique coaches or best coaches in general in the game. They'll figure it out. It's their third show together, right? And they placed third
They
at both
learn
Arnold's
always.
and now second at
Bro, they
Pittsburgh. Like
did big shows. They didn't just do like a
no,
show somewhere
exactly.
in a town. Like
right.
these are big shows, like Armor Classic, Pittsburgh
Shows, they
Pro.
count.
Man, if I was fourth place, third place here, I would also be happy. Even if I was second, I would be very, very happy because it's not just a show somewhere. It's just you're doing a Pittsburgh Pro or New York
These
Pro.
shows.
These are big shows, man. Second place here is like a lot of guys. If you ask those guys who were second call out, third call out, they would die for it.
Hell yeah.
But you still need to remember that now he's chasing his tail. So he's wanting to get that qualification. He's coming
Of
so
course.
close. So that's
Of
extra
course.
stress on his body. So if it does come down to just being harder and tighter, stress hormone does play a big role. And sometimes you
Exactly.
just can't control it. I mean, me and Alex both did probably the most shows last year out of men's physique pros. And I mean, we were chasing, chasing, chasing. And once I got to that point of, like you
Yeah.
said, not giving a funk, I went into Chicago. I was like, all
Exactly.
right, I
You
just,
you
my
start
whole body
sleeping.
changed.
Me after the show, I came home. Man, I think I slept 12 hours. And before show, I take a sleeping pill. I couldn't fall asleep. I wake up 3 a.m. In
Yeah,
the night. I
those
wake up
nerves.
again 4 or 5. So nervous. And now the day after, man, I just slept. Like, okay.
There you go.
Now I don't even feel like I'm going to New York. I don't even feel the stress or anything.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good feeling, man. I'll
That's a
never
that's a
forget
good
that.
feeling. That's a good
Makes it
feeling to have.
easier, man. Makes it very,
I
very
mean,
easy.
going into New York now is interesting because from what I saw, you're the favorite right now.
You know what I love about New York show? I saw some of the guys competing. I think we have all like the same height guys, like
Yeah.
the three Brazilian guys.
Yeah. You got
Also
Edvon.
was competing.
You got Edvon,
Dre,
Vinicius,
yeah, is
Dre.
competing. So we're almost all the same height.
All the same height
You
for the
know, the
most part.
five guys. It's gonna look very nice to compare. If
Man, hold on, wait. Oh, the deadline. Damn, the deadline is up. I would have hopped in if I mean, y'all needed a taller guy. God dang, my bad. Hold on.
now
The deadline is over. My
that's
bad.
not gonna look good, man. You're like the tall guy in between. We want like the same height. Like.
Hey, it's
We're,
all good, man. I'm gonna let
we're,
y'all shine. I'm gonna let y'all shine.
we're jumping around here, but I want to give flowers to these guys. But you're right, man. If you really think about it, Pittsburgh now, or I'm sorry, New York is crazy, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's a good
you
show.
guys,
Deadly.
and you guys
That's a
are
deadly show right now.
all very similar.
Yeah,
Edvon, very, very dense,
same
very
height,
sharp,
same height,
same
same kind
height.
of physique. Yeah.
Yep. And you got Dre. I think Dre is
Venice,
Hey, can we
what's the
pause
guy
right
name?
there? Can we not talk about New York? Can we finish this? Because I'm
you're
kind of
right, you're right,
excited
you're right, you're right,
to
you're right,
talk
you're right,
about
you're right.
New
We're
York,
getting all hyped
but
up.
we kind of
I'm getting
jumping right now.
bro,
But
I'm
first
getting
of all,
hyped, man.
I want to get to third place because it is my guy George Brown. Me and George, that's my guy. We had a conversation on the last podcast.
Here we go.
Congratulations on placing third.
He looked
But
good.
there's nothing against George at all. George looked fucking good. Like I
Amazing.
mentioned, I said, bro, you was on. Like I ain't never. Again, we've seen George on these past couple shows, and he's never looked like that in the past years. So for him to continue to keep bringing it like how he's bringing it, my hats off to you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Nah,
5'1".
he
He's
was. He was.
43
I
years
saw
old.
him backstage.
It's
Like
built.
for prejudging. I was
I
like,
seen it
bro,
through the
he looked
damn
good.
live stream. I'm like, he was
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
I
Like,
think he looked really good at the prejudging with the red shorts. It brought his physique much more like the highlight when he took
I agree.
the
I agree.
finals like a dark shorts. It didn't really show up his muscles, and he had less
I agree.
glaze on.
And
But
and I
prejudging,
think
it looked
he kind of
crazy.
placed. I think he kind of placed third based on we know George is built. Yes, he has a thick back. Yeah, you guys brought a little bit more detail, but kind of like I think George's posing versus your guys' posing, your guys' waist has this dagger like straight down, and I think George poses a little bit wider,
yeah.
and shows that back oblique. I, there's nothing you can do to a daggering freaking core like Ali Bilal. So it's just like I said, hats off to George. George brought it. It's just now just go to the O,
Yeah.
finish it out.
Now, I think they
And,
should have done like the call out, the confirmation with three of us.
Three.
I think he deserves that. He looked good. He was really conditioning wise. I think he was more conditioned than Vitor.
yeah,
Like he was
I agree.
dry. I I
Absolutely.
I I feel like he needed a shot. Like they should have given him like at least
And that's the thing. Like, there, no slight to anybody who did the show, but there wasn't tons of people who were complete in the sense of having a dominant back, very similar to having a dominant front, right? This was a more of a
Right.
dominant front kind of show,
It
and
was
I would
definitely
probably say that George had the best back on stage from top to bottom, at least of density. Could have been a little bit drier, but again, in terms of density and overall completeness. So I definitely agree. I think if there was a top three, it maybe would have allowed him to be compared next to
an inch.
Vitor
Yeah.
a
yeah.
little bit more thoroughly. I'm curious to see because I know it was a clear win on the scorecards for you. I'm curious to see what it was for Vitor, but
I
if
think
they
it
did
was
call out,
6'9", 369. So
yeah,
it was yeah, it was clear because me and Vitor had similar physique and
yeah,
a bit similar posing. So that I think the top two was I know what
If
when
it
I
was
saw
closer, I think they
Vitor
would have had
backstage
three.
when I saw Vitor backstage when we were warming up, I was like, okay, it's me and Vitor.
yeah.
But when I saw George like pumping up, he looked really, really dry. I was like, this is the best I've ever seen him. That's why he was so
Yeah.
confident.
We've been telling him that he on his what we gonna call
Oh,
it
he
his
knows
old
it
man
too.
journey.
He knows
He
he
on his
knows he
old
looks
man
good too.
journey.
But
he doing
if
what
he
he's
went
doing
to do
right
any
now.
other shows like this with this conditioning, he can easily win, like hands down, you know.
Yeah, yeah. This was the, and again, he even said it. He was like, he's chasing that next level of conditioning, and he knew he had to going against you and Vitor.
He had
He,
to.
he had to. There was no sugarcoating it. He even said if he has to sacrifice a little bit of fullness to do it, he was willing to do it. And again, this is the best George, so he's just collecting data and getting ready for the O. Now, I will say this: fourth place. I had him as my dark horse, but I did not see this one coming. We have Deke Walker.
Shock of the show, in my opinion,
Yeah,
as well. Yes.
taking home, fourth place finish again. I call this man very similar to Clarence, Mr. First Call Outs. He's a walking assassin. He's always dense. He's always hard, grainy conditioning. He's always going to be in that conversation. I think he's a little bit lacking still in the back, but again, the conditioning even through the back is kind of separates him from a lot of people.
I think he
Um,
could have been drier through the core,
yeah,
just a little
I
bit,
agree.
a tad
I agree.
bit through
yeah,
the core, and he would have definitely been top three. Like
yeah.
his shape and everything. If he was just a bit drier, he was. Don't get me wrong, he was built. But if he was just little, like just a little bit more conditioned
In the core, yes.
in
In
that
the core.
core,
Drew,
he would have been there. He would have been there right with them.
you're good with this, man. Like he has placed top five in every single show that he's done over the last practically 2 years. What is the reason that his look isn't necessarily being rewarded in that top two?
His taper. He needs more taper. He has a bigger waist. Shoulder to waist ratio. He's not as tapered as the other guys. If you just look at the picture, the biggest thing is the taper. He could have the same conditioning. He could pose perfectly for his look, but I think he needs to angle his front pose with the Superman a little bit more. And the back, he just needs more lats because his waist is bigger. It's kind of like Austin Whitty. They just have a shorter, blockier looking torso to where he needs to just flare those lats out, bring those lats out a little bit more to where it's more of a taper, because there's always going to be guys at shows that may not be as wide, but since they got a smaller waist, it's going to create the illusion that they're more tapered, and that's where they're going to kind of get the notch above Deke every single time. But I think he looked great. I didn't have him in fourth. I didn't have him beating Clarence, but coming up, I mean, I know he's happy. Definitely seeing him on Instagram. I mean, a prestigious show like this, I mean, that's really good for him. I'm excited to see more of him this year. He's always peeled. He's always on. But like Banks said, just in that core to be a little bit tighter, I think it could definitely be a difference in a few placings, like a top three, top four. And these shows are only going to get stronger too. So he's also a very consistent guy. So I'm excited to see what more he does.
What he
Yeah,
brings, yeah.
I agree. I just spoke with him earlier today. He's committed to jumping into Miami. He's been there before. It's no secret that he actually lives in Miami now. So
Yeah.
he's. I mean, it's Miami is shaping up to be a fucking show. So we'll talk about that here in a couple weeks. But it's going to be a movie. And then a little bit shocking here, we have Clarence again coming in at fifth. Again, man is never out of a first call out. But I had my thoughts, but I want to see what you guys saw first. I'm very curious to know where you think he may have lost ground.
He. I just feel he's tired. He's tired. I didn't think he had the pop that he brought when he won. Of course he's going to be conditioned. That just is what it is. Clarence is Clarence. But the thing is, once you lose that pop and your body feels or looks tired, it's time to hang it up and get ready for the big show. Like I definitely wouldn't have did the Pittsburgh Pro if I was him.
Yeah,
But again,
I know
I'm
JM reached out to him and had him do it, and he was already
I don't
committed to
care.
it. He was committed to it and already had his
Man.
contract in before he was qualified. And I know he was chasing that. So that's usually what happens. Like you put in your contracts and then you're chasing it, chasing it, chasing it. And for him, I mean, it's good exposure. He got to see kind of where he's at, but we all know what he needs to improve on. He needs to
yeah,
utilize this extra time to bring up his back, because that's the only way he's going to be moving up,
Okay,
because he's
so
going to
as a
see
He's
all
already
these guys
as
again.
qualified,
a
right? He's already
professional,
qualified, right?
he
Yes.
is. He is.
Why would he not just take the time? You have 6 months
that
time to improve, man.
And
Yeah.
he qualified. He
Like
qualified
if you
almost a
qualify,
month
you
ago.
qualify. You know, it doesn't matter who you win here against, and because this what I did wrong last year, the year before. I mean, I won three
you did
shows.
hella shows.
I won two
Uh,
back-to-back shows, and then I got second place. Man, I
You
couldn't
kept going.
sleep after that. After winning 2 shows, I couldn't sleep, like, because I end up second. It demotivates you. And then I went to do Arnold. Won Arnold. I got that motivation again. So
Yeah.
once you qualified, I would just like say, okay, now I've proved what I have to prove. You don't have to win like 5 shows or 10 shows to be good at Olympia. If you bring your best package, they're gonna see you there.
Yeah.
The
No,
thing with Clarence is he already had prearranged and committed to doing the show before he ever qualified. So I don't think he would have done it if he
Yeah.
knew he was going to qualify, you know, the
But as
weeks
soon as I
before.
qualified, I would have just got on the phone with JM and been like, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do. This is my career. I'm a grown ass man. I'm gonna
Yeah.
sit my ass down, build and work towards the fucking Mr. Olympia.
But
I
now
It
the
feel
doesn't.
that
results,
he's a
the results
competitor.
are
He
good for
wanted to do
him.
it.
Now he know where he is and what you have to work on. So,
Mhm.
maybe he was gonna work harder than he was gonna work after qualification. Now he still have few guys to beat,
Yeah.
and what he needs to work on. You have 6 months to improve that and to show that. So
Like you said, I'm a massive fan of Clarence, always have been. I just think utilizing the added
Love him, but I
time.
wouldn't have did this show. I
Nah,
wouldn't
I
have
just
did this
use
show.
taking the extra time to grow his back at the end of the day, I think would have paid more dividends at the show that really matters. But again, he placed another fifth or another first call out. He's just Mr. Consistent in that aspect. And regardless of it, still fifth place at the Pittsburgh Pro. Now, I do want to talk about sixth place before we move on here, but something that I definitely was not expecting. We actually had Dre a little higher here.
Dre. Yeah, we
I
did.
was, I
Well,
don't
I
know
did.
if
I had him fifth, I think.
yeah. Well, I don't think any of us had him out of the first call out, but
No,
what did you
he was
guys
definitely
see?
first.
Yeah, what'd you see that, compared to previous packages?
He was just off. He was just washed out. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's travel. I didn't get to really talk to him, but it just seems like something wasn't working with his physique, and he didn't bring in that grainy, hard, dry look. He just really looked washed out from the back, and his abs and his core, he just wasn't at his best. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. I don't know any reasoning behind it, but he's a guy that I thought would be a front runner, especially with how he looked at LA this year. Before seeing Ali, I thought that uh, Andre had one of the most impressive looks this year. So I had him as a front runner just based on what I was seeing throughout the season, and he was getting better, and then this show kind of looked like a descend a little bit. So he just needs to take more time, focus on the show that matters, and just focus on coming in absolutely peak like he did at LA.
Yeah.
So,
I
so did he get bumped? Did he get bumped up?
sixth place.
I
I
think he
thought
was center. What was he center a second
uh
call? I know he moved in. I think he moved in when I was watching it.
Gochez or what's his name? Juan Gomez
Juan Goche.
was six.
I thought he got seventh. I
Really?
thought I thought Drake.
Well, I'm just looking at the first call out video right now, and
Uh,
Dre's not even in it.
I
if
was
you
shocked when Gochez was in first call up.
dude, he is such a
He's literally always kind of in the mix. The thing is about him, I like his physique. He just needs to nail his freaking conditioning.
yeah.
He's
That's like
always off with it. It's either on or it's like slightly off. Like it's weird.
Yeah.
But he has a great physique. He has a back. If he's dry, that kid can really do damage.
no,
But
like
I don't
crazy
think
potential.
I
He's
don't
not
know
putting
what.
it together for a reason, so I always wonder what
Yeah,
that
it's
reason
not.
is. But
It's not
he
there.
also does a little bit too much when he's posing. I think he poses a
His
little
posing
extra.
needs to, yeah, very
Yeah.
extra, very. Okay, yeah. They did move Dre in. They
Yeah.
did move Dre in. My bad.
Well,
Okay.
again, man, Pittsburgh Pro, the most anticipated show yet of the season, kicking off one hell of a show again. Your champion Ali Bilal, man, congratulations, man. This is going from
Seriously, congrats.
fifth place to first place, right? And not only that, man. Like I know some people forget in 2022. I remember, man, because I was in second call out, so I remember when they called your name for the Olympia and the emotion that you had being in that first call out. Like that motivated me. Like that's the shit that I wanted to feel being at the Olympia for that first time. And then what was awesome, man, I got that feeling again when they called your name for this win, and I saw the emotion that you had.
The
Like
jump for joy.
jump.
Yeah.
It was. I'm
it
like,
was as I said in the interview. Like, honestly, I think this felt like all the 4 shows that I've won before. all them combined, this one meant more than anything. The top 10 Olympia, the first call out, everything combined. Because, you come from like, you going down and then you come up, and that's the feeling that you really, that you know you're not done yet,
Absolutely,
Like,
man.
And your mindset is at an all-time high. It seems talking to you and, getting married and being able to kind of do less cardio, figuring out your body,
I
finding a
wanted to
coach that
stop
works with
this
you.
year. I didn't want to compete anymore this year, honestly. So yeah,
Well, it
after
worked out
Olympia,
because
I
you
was
don't
like,
have
I'm
to.
done. After Olympia, I was like, I'm done, because you go prep and then you get fifth, and then there you get like India. I went there
That's
and
what I wanted to. That's what I wanted
yeah,
to talk to you about. I
I don't
wanted to.
want to talk about that one, but I got I got
I was
third there,
waiting. I was
bro. Like
waiting.
after that third place, I didn't want to compete anymore, honestly.
That
That
show still
that
shot.
that
I was,
like really, really fucked me up. I was like, oh
I don't
my.
know how you lost that show.
we don't have to talk about it, but I'll say this: I was looking to compete in India this year, and instead I'm looking in China. But I was going to compete in
I
India,
think
and
you should do
after
India. I'm going there. Yeah, I'm going there
you
too.
are
No, I'm not competing, but I'm going there as a
okay,
guest
good.
poser. Yeah. No,
Okay, good.
because
No, but
I
Alex was
speak
like, where?
I speak Hindi. I have a lot of fans over there, so I'm just
Yeah,
gonna go on stage and talk to people, and that's
yeah,
it.
like
Just
it's
a bit of
cool.
guest
I'm,
posing too.
I just didn't.
But you should really do it this year. There's like no competition. There's no one is competing. Honestly,
I was just
and you don't
nervous.
have to do it because it's easy qualification. But just like they're really, really friendly. You go there. The way they treat you.
The
Men's
exposure
physique
and
winner
yeah,
is men's physique winner get treated like Mr. Olympia in the USA.
Yeah.
Like the big guy when Hardy won and stuff. That's
Hmm.
the way they end up the show in India with men's physique, so that the fire goes up and everything. There's a DJ, live singer coming in between your posing. Like we were posing on stage, the comparison, and then they say stop, everyone, and then like some famous rapper came in, and then he started to sing, and we had to do like free posing and shit.
All right, that's
And then they
dope.
start the firework and everything like
you should be
inside
a
the venue.
promoter, bro.
Man,
You
they
Right?
should
were
be a
like
Shit.
promoter. I want to go there now. I want to go do it.
Drew, stay home, bro. Stay in the states.
honestly, they were like, I think there were like 600,000 tickets sold out or something.
What?
Man, if there's like a small accident, 600 people come to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
No,
were like, there's so many people over there, but so it's really good for fame. I went there, I got third. I came back home, I got 150K followers. I was like, good.
what would you say? What would you say the biggest differences between overseas shows? Because you've done a handful now, versus in-state.
I think mostly in Asia, they really love men's physique. They don't care about bodybuilding, man,
Hmm.
because they all want that aesthetic physique. That they all watch these Bollywood movies and stuff, so they all want to look like that look. For them, too
Yeah.
big. They know they cannot get that, and it's too much for them. But in Europe, they love bodybuilding, like big guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Men's physique is good, like hypes, but not as much as like India, China, Japan, these countries. Man, you go there, men's physique is like the last category that comes in,
Literally.
and the whole get full up. Like you have a 212 competing, no one is watching, and then men's physique comes in, it's stacked, man. It's crazy.
About
That's
time.
crazy.
About
Right?
time.
It's
We're
like
picking
that in
up some
Korea
ground.
too.
Yeah.
It's like that in Korea.
Yeah,
South Korea, I
Japan,
have a huge
Japan,
fan base.
Korea, it's
We got to
crazy,
take
man. You have to
NPR
do like
international.
Japan Pro or India. It's like crazy
Hell yeah,
feeling.
Yeah,
man.
man. Crazy.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Now with
That's
this,
nuts.
the Pittsburgh Pro again, legendary show. Now we have New York Pro. We have back-to-back legendary shows. Probably the third biggest show, if not the fourth, next to Pittsburgh, of the season. And again, this lineup is arguably more competitive than what Pittsburgh is. Right now, we have Ali officially committed. But now a lot will say is quote unquote the favorite, and then we have Vitor coming in. We have Edvon. We have Vinicius, who just came off another win, and then Dre. Right, so I think most people will sit there and say that that's
Is
pretty.
that list out yet?
It's not out yet. It'll come out
It'll come
tomorrow.
out right after we do this video. That's
Every
what
time right
usually
after we do
happens.
these
Yeah.
videos.
Every
But
time,
but with that, it's safe to say those top five will likely be those first call outs. And like you said, all have very similar frames, structures, and strengths.
Especially the
Now,
height, it
yeah,
makes it
like
interesting.
All aesthetic and very complete.
so
It's going to come down to peak, honestly. That's what
Yeah,
I think. I think it's going
exactly.
to come down to who peaks the best.
The
yeah.
one that peaks the best, and yeah, I don't know.
Are we?
What's crazy, man? I can definitely see if Ali's the favorite, the most comparable to his front would be Edvon.
At one,
Yes.
yeah, exactly. It's
I agree.
almost kind of same
Posed the
same
same way,
front,
yeah.
but I
They,
think I
yeah.
have more deeper obliques, and when I do my
Yes,
side,
I
more
you do
deeper
have a little bit
abs, more
deeper.
deeper, and add like I think our back is kind of similar. You also don't have that.
No, but
No, I think
but
Edvin has density, but he
yeah,
always
density.
poses with his arms really high and it
Too
takes
high.
away from his taper.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
but
noticed
he
yeah.
that.
have
In his
very good
check-ins, he
lines,
doesn't do that.
and he never comes off, so that's a good thing. He's really really like he peaked good. He
Yeah.
know how to peak, so
Yeah.
that's
He's
gonna
bringing a
be
much
interesting.
bringing a much
So who
different
else is
package.
in this show besides those five?
I don't
Anybody else?
I think most
not
of
that
the guys who did like Pittsburgh. No,
I would think so. I mean, I know Deke Walker isn't in it. I don't think Dre is in it. So, and I know for a fact that George isn't in
Georgia.
it. So,
Uh,
so right now, I mean, let's be real. Even if you can think of another name, I can't imagine anybody
It
being
wouldn't even be.
ahead of
Yeah.
that top five right now. But
like last year I got fifth in Pittsburgh, and I was normally registered also for I want to do New York, but after getting fifth, I was like, there's no point in going to New York. I just
yeah,
took a flight back home. I was like, I'm gone.
all right.
So,
Well, Ali, you might have to take a back seat here for a quick minute because I'm gonna get the guys in trouble. Let's let's give it if knowing with these top five, let's do a quick predictions on who you guys think is bringing it home based off of what you've seen already and based off of just the updates that you've seen online.
Ooh, you can
Yeah,
go
this is
ahead
hard.
first, Drew. Go first, Drew.
Oh man. All right. I'm gonna have it's kind of hard to do this without a list. It's always a little bit difficult. I think Ali and Dre are gonna battle out 1 and 2. I think Edvin and Vitor are going to battle out for 3. Edvin's downsized and he kind of messes up his back pose. It always looks a little bit different. I think Vitor's going to have the same. Um, I wouldn't
You
say
can't say
issue,
that
but
about back poses. You cannot say that about back poses and put Dre second.
We talk about
I mean,
how wide he is. Like, as
I
far as
think Dre pulls it off
No,
better than
he,
Edvin.
but he moves too much in his back pose. Every time it's this.
yeah,
Yeah, the twitch,
So he moves a lot.
Yeah,
So the thing is like you can't say,
that's
oh, because
but
he
that's
finally
nothing big.
settles.
That's nothing
Yeah,
big to
but
improve. That you just have to stand still.
yeah, he
That's a
settles
small
into it and
adjustment.
gets in the pose. Yeah, but I think that I mean Evan when he poses and he has his check-in photos, he poses it perfect. And that's like once he gets on stage, I don't know if it's nerves, I don't know if it's adrenaline, but he tends to move around
But
and
this
just
this
kind of pinch
this
it.
other Brazilian guy, what's his name? This
oh, Venetius,
Vinicius.
Venetius.
Vinicius.
Vinicius.
Oh, he has
Let
the
me
best
ask
back
you,
out of everybody.
between Vitor, Vinicius, and
Edvon.
Edvin, who's one, two, three?
I have
Uh,
Vinicius beating both of them.
no,
Not in
absolutely not.
front.
I don't
Absolutely
so
not.
Vinicius doesn't have the best front, but as far as the conditioning and the fullness in the back, I have
No.
Vinicius.
Go no, pick your five. Pick your five.
Yeah,
Pick your
yeah,
five.
yeah. Pick your
Pick
five.
your
But to
five
answer
and
your
I get
question,
it.
Ollie, to
I
answer
get
your
it.
question, if all of them are 100%, I'd say Vitor, Edvon, and then Venetius. I think Vitor and Edvon are very close, by the way.
The time that I seen Vinicius in person at the Arnold, he smoked Vitor.
I,
It was lights out in person,
Which
like
one was
lights
that?
out.
This year?
I'm just not a fan of his
This
front
year?
shot, bro.
His
I'm not
front
a
shot
fan
is
of Vinicius's front shot either, but I think conditioning carries him more than Vitor, and he holds
We
it.
we we're doing men's physique. I think it's not only. I don't
not
think it's
only.
Vinicius conditioning
no. I
isn't
don't. I
better than
don't.
Vitor's.
It's only turning
Did you
back
just
and,
see
and
what he
your
just
back.
did?
It's the face. Is I think it's the face, the
Yeah,
front pose, the whole how you stand. It's not only like your back and the thickness. I don't know, man. If it was back, I don't think I could have won Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So
No.
I think it's a little bit everything, and
All
we're
right, here.
not
This
going
is this
for.
is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do. Based on what I've seen, Andre hasn't updated. I'm gonna go Ali. I'm gonna go Dre, Vitor, Vinicius, Edvin.
I'm very similar. I have Ali, Dre, and the thing is, like, I want to see Dre because he has the best back on that, or well, he has a great back out of the top three who are in my head right now. So that's going to be a deciding factor. But Dre second, Vitor third, and then I have Edvon, and then Vinicius.
Guys, you guys are
Dang,
stressing me, man.
From what we
yeah,
saw, from what
Now
I
I can't
saw,
sleep
man,
9 hours
yeah.
anymore.
You get this one, then you're gonna
I'm
pass out
getting
for
that
two
pressure,
days.
man.
Listen, man, listen,
who I got?
conditioning kills.
Nah, I think I'm gonna be much more conditioned. This, I
I
honestly, I'm saying
You
this
don't have to
in
be.
a podcast. I didn't took any diuretic, nothing, man. Like zero.
Do you plan to for New York?
If I'm not ready, of course.
Oh, you're ready. You're
you'll
ready.
be
You're
ready.
once a
You're
week.
just coming off
Once
a
a week.
dub. You're
You're
coming
ready.
off a dub. The body is flame. The
But
body's flaming right now. Um, I would have to go Edvon,
Ooh,
Vitor, Dre, Vinicius.
all
Ooh,
right. You
okay.
know what's crazy? We're saying with the guy who has the best back on that stage is coming in last.
interesting.
Yeah.
We talking about fronts. You can have a great back. Look at me. I have a fucking one of the best backs in the world. Did I win based off my front last year? No.
I think you got one of the best fronts in the game too. So
Man, it
I
comes
do, but I was
all it
off.
comes all
I was
to,
off.
we can say this all, who's gonna be second, first.
Right.
Now
that shit don't it
anything
means
can
nothing.
happen, man. Anything can happen,
Fact,
and anyone can
Ali.
show up, and there can be maybe a guy who we don't even count in this lineup. He can
right.
show up and beat all of us, man. Like
Bro, listen, none of us had you in first. So like this is just guys talking
exactly, yeah.
shit.
That's
You know
what
what I
can
mean?
happen.
Right.
Maybe there's some guy laughing right now at us, saying like, "Oh man, wait till you see me, man." That's what I was
There's
saying
not
last week.
many.
That's
There's
what I was
not
saying
many
last week.
Ali Bilals out there that are just creeping and just
I
entering
mean it.
shows and just
That's what I did last week. I was like, wait
Yeah.
wait till Friday till you see me,
hey,
man.
hey, I got receipts. I kind of changed my mind after we got off the podcast. I got
He did.
receipts.
He did. He did.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll
Thank
give you
you.
that. I'll give you that.
No, but
But
it was, you know why it was such a like easy prep for me, because I didn't had any pressure. I didn't have any sponsorship deals. I cut off everything. I had like
Mm,
three sponsorship deals, like good paying sponsorship deals. I cut them all. I didn't have to post anything. I didn't have to say anything on Instagram. I lost like 6,000 followers. Now I gained 12,000. So, I had no stress. I
that's
didn't have to post. I didn't have to wake up and say, drink this and drink that and do this and do that. So I was so relaxed 12 weeks. I didn't even have Instagram the last so many weeks. I would just download it maybe for 15 minutes just to check up, and like if there was some important message, and I would delete it. I only used Instagram maybe 10, 15 minutes a day. That's it.
that's
Oh
mm,
wow.
that's
And
healthy,
that's
man.
it
smart.
helps so
That's
much, man.
smart.
It helps
It
so
showed.
much.
It showed.
You know, Ali, we do something at the end of these podcasts where we allow fans to ask questions. And one of the questions that I wanted to ask was, and this is, you kind of hit on it perfectly. The guy asked, how do you control your mental state while on prep? Will you say kind of deleting or staying off of social media, maybe, just staying to yourself? Like, was that the biggest thing you did?
Yeah, the you don't have to delete your social media, but just like don't go and look at others like and zoom in on pictures, because pictures never like show how you look, man.
No.
You can have you can see a guy who just trained, and maybe he just trained delts and his delts are like crazy good, or trained back, and you start comparing your back from today with his back, and it
Yeah.
doesn't it gives you just mental stress, and he just sharpen his pictures and do all his fucking editing shit, and honestly, and it gives you so much stress, because social media, it's all, yeah, it
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
makes you crazy. You just sit and look at, I didn't even look at the list who was competing at the Pittsburgh Pro until I
That's
went for the
impressive.
judging. I went to see the guys, I saw them there, and that was it. I
man.
didn't look at the list. I didn't knew who was competing. I didn't care who was competing. I just knew I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna be better than I was last year. That's it.
It's commitment. That's a real
I'm
champ mindset.
I'm gonna
Good
tell you this,
mindset,
man. I'm gonna tell
Because
you this.
That's good.
everyone looks good on social media, man. They have these cameramans with them, and they will. No one is gonna ever post a picture where they look bad.
Nope.
Yeah,
Right.
That's facts. Yeah.
Yeah, they
you know,
always look perfect, and you look like shit. You just take your picture, a morning picture, like update, and my wife take my pictures, and I compare them with some guy who's taking a gym picture, like a perfectly edited.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, I look like shit,
you
The
know,
Pittsburgh
Yeah.
champ does not look like shit, but it's all perspective in
No,
your
but
head.
it's
Yes.
all up here, it's how you
Yep.
see yourself, and social media is gonna, it doesn't matter how much confidence you have. If you get 1,000 good comments, everyone is saying, oh, you look great, you look great. There's gonna be one comment that's gonna say, oh, your lower back looks like shit, or your middle back
Sticks.
looks like shit, or you have a little bit
You're
water.
gonna hold that.
That's
You're gonna
gonna
hold
go,
that
that
comment.
1,000 you're gonna forget. That one comment is gonna hit you so hard that your day is ruined.
you know,
Absolutely.
as a young athlete coming up, man, that's veteran experience that I'm gonna take and utilize for myself this season. Like whenever I'm 2 weeks out, a week out from a show, you're gonna see me get a little
Four
bit
weeks
more
out.
quiet.
Just 4 weeks out. Just have Instagram downloaded for like 5 minutes in the morning. If you have your family with you, everyone with you, you don't even need to download it, man. If
Yeah,
you have a sponsorship deals, you can pre-upload all the pictures.
Yep.
The app that does it for you, all the stories and
mhm,
stuff. So that goes automatically. You don't even have to like go and have the Instagram account because it gives you so much stress, and you spend your whole day on it, and you don't have energy and prep anyways, and then you're sitting all
hell
day
yeah.
long and scrolling and looking at everyone who's better than you.
No, that's key, man. Kind
That's
of staying
smart.
out of your own mental is the hardest part about that final weeks.
Exactly.
Drew, do you do anything in particular that kind of helps you kind of stay in a calm space?
So I mainly just maintain balance in my life. So I'll, make sure that I'm keeping healthy relationships with my friends, my family, take my dogs for walks. I try to um, stay busy. I don't try to isolate myself. I used to isolate myself, and being miserable doesn't make it any better. So I try to keep structure in my life. I try to stay busy and try to do everything. If I'm in a bad mood, I feel tired, I just try to put on the happy face for the day, go do what I got to do, and just, I get it done. And, I just tell myself and visualize getting the job done. And then, like Ali says, afterwards you sleep, like you still
Yeah,
have the stress, but I think you just,
Exactly. Yeah.
you start to adapt to it and kind of get used to it after you do it show after show after show. And then you can't have expectations like, what if I don't do this, or what if this happens, or you got to just trust yourself that you're bringing your absolute best. And one thing that Ali said about the whole Instagram thing, he's the only other guy. My best friend Perry, he deleted his Instagram too, and he's doing USA's, and he deleted it at the beginning of the year, so he's been off of it for
wow.
4 months. And he has a
It's
wife, he
gonna
has
look
kids, he
good.
has other things. Yeah, then that's what I'm saying. So he'll send me updates in the group chat and whatnot. But I mean, it does say a lot about how committed you are. Like, social media kind of runs the world right now, and people wonder, hey, what is he
we
gonna post? How's he
we
looking?
don't
We get
feel
in each
it like
other's heads.
we don't feel it. Imagine we training, we going, we have a chest day, we do like 2 sets. In between, we just take our phone and we start scrolling, like,
It's habit. Yeah,
sometimes it takes
becomes
two and a
habit.
half, 3 minutes. You just sit and answering someone that lives in India
Especially,
or I don't know which
yeah,
country. You're sitting and arguing with that person like, no, I'm better than
And
this
then
and
your
I'm not.
mindset is off
Yeah,
the goal. What you're there for
exactly.
is to
Yeah.
focus on your
So
show. You
it takes
focus
a
on getting
lot, a
better.
lot of focus out of.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Personally for me, I voice.
I'm sorry. I'm too damn selfish for all that. I don't give a damn about what my post on Instagram. I'm too damn selfish. It's gonna be downloaded, but I ain't looking at nobody. And the people
Yeah.
that I should be looking at, their ass is muted.
Bro
So
just blocks
it is
everyone,
what it
like, hey.
or you're blocked, Banks.
is. That part.
All right, we'll move on here, but I'll say this: the one thing that I do for myself is very, very simple. I don't hold it in. In prep we struggle. There's no question about it. Whatever it is, right? We have the brunt of outside world, our own stressors from prep. You take a bad check in, you feel like you look like shit. The world's over, right? I voice it. I don't sit there and hold it in and take my anger out on my loved ones anymore. So, I'll tell my wife, look at this bullshit check-in. Or then I'll say same thing. Look how fucking crazy, my obliques are coming in, right? Like I'll tell her these things and when it's good and bad. So she starts to get it, so when I'm in a bad space, it's just not like pent up anymore. I tell my videographer the same shit, like I just voice it, and instead of holding it in, it's been a lot easier for me to digest. Now, before we move on to the next question, all the other guys have answered this. Ali, where do you store your syrup? Is it in the fridge or the pantry?
Where do I store my what?
Your syrup. Put it on top of the pancakes.
Oh, bro, I don't have any. I don't.
He's too
Smart
shredded for
man.
that shit.
Smart
He's
man.
I
bro.
don't.
You don't have syrup in your house, bro. You don't
No,
have
I
syrup in
don't.
your house.
No.
Where
Hey,
would you
smart
put
man.
it if you had it? Where would you put it? Where
He
where
won't
would you
even
think it
know.
goes?
Bro, like trash. To be honest.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's a good
you don't
one,
get shredded. You don't get shredded
Bro, I'm
Bro,
sorry.
I
I'm about
did
to
syrup.
go.
So
when I the day I started my prep. Okay, the day I started. Oh, I don't even know what you guys mean. Like,
Like syrup you put on your pancakes. Like,
okay,
do you put it in the refrigerator when you're done with it, or do you put it in the pantry in like a cabinet?
oh man, I never use it. So,
That boy is shredded for a reason. That boy is shredded
nah,
for
but
a
credit
reason.
for a
honestly, I didn't
reason.
drink. I didn't drink any Diet Cokes for 12 weeks when I started my prep. I didn't drink. I didn't took any zero calorie sauce, no protein powders, only food and water. That's it. 12 weeks long. The first Diet Cokes I had was after Pittsburgh Pro. Only one.
All right.
So
So
I, when I
speak
when I'm on diet, I don't do zero calories and all these sauces and stuff. I go
even in
like,
your off season, no syrup in your house.
no, I don't. We don't because we don't do syrups in Europe actually.
You fair enough. You're too lean for it. So
Yeah.
you're talking about the diets, whatever. After your show, right? I'm sure you had a good meal, right? What was
I text
in,
that boy. I said, "Don't eat nothing." He sent me a picture. Sorry, I'm already eating.
I was already in the Capitol Grill. I was already in the Capitol Grill.
you're a
hey, at
big
least you went
steak guy,
somewhere good.
bro. You're a big
I
steak
love
guy.
I love steak, man. I love steak because
Oh,
I didn't eat steak for like 12 weeks. I didn't eat any red meat. I only eat cod and chicken. So George
damn.
stopped like all red meat. He says it's digest very slow and stuff. So we only put like chicken and cod. So I was like the first thing I did. Actually, before I started to carb up, I had like one day before I think I went to eat the night before the show. I went to eat like a big steak,
Mhm.
24 ounce the night before the show. The day of the show before I went on stage, like 3 hours before, I went to eat a big burger with a lot of fries. The evening of the show, I went to eat 24 ounces of steak again with potatoes and all I could eat. So I eat a lot, man,
So
because I didn't eat it for such a long time.
do
So
you
it
believe in
was
peaking with like a dirty peak, like burger,
not the
pancakes,
burger was
sushi?
actually not dirty. It was just like the bun, the bread and the meat. So it was just like to get like the slow digesting. You want to eat your last meal before going on stage, like 3.5 hours before, so
Hmm.
it can keep you full and you don't sweat. It's the salt
Yeah.
make you like you go on stage, you can hold your poses for like half an hour. You don't sweat. You don't get so. That's why actually I did it. The salt and the potatoes you eat for that fries, it keeps you full for a longer time. It digests slower. The red meat digests slow, so that's
I
a
like
good
it.
thing. Especially if people like take diuretic, they
Yeah.
should like in the night eat like red meat and potatoes, like big steak, because it digests very slow. You don't get flat in the morning. You don't wake up flat. So
It's a
you
good
wake up
point.
in the morning very full. If you
I
eat
like
like
that.
rice or sushi, that digests very quick. It has a lot of
Yeah.
salt, but it's gonna
Well,
digest like
glycemic
after
gets in and out of you.
after 3 hours it digested.
Yeah,
And
that makes sense.
but red meat and potatoes is gonna take, especially sweet potatoes, it's gonna take a lot of time. In the morning you wake up full. That's for people
So
who
what you're
take
saying
diuretic.
is after Capitol Grill, you're still full right now, huh?
Not right now, man. The morning of the show,
Hey, give
George
him a
told me,
sneak peek, Ali
hey,
Bilal. Tell him show him what you finna pull up to New York in. Just show him.
Ooh, look at that.
bro, George told me like in the morning of the show, he was like do like a 25-minute walk. I went like 50-minute walk. I had so much energy, like from all the steak and the food I ate. And like the day after, I had like a whole day of zero carb. The day after, he told me, how much did you do yesterday? I was like 40 minutes. He was like, do the same today. It's good. Man, I did half an hour. I was like, I'm done.
You got
Because the
tired of it.
carbs had worked out.
The
That's funny.
carbs are gone.
It's
They're
only
gone.
going to make you look better too, because now your
I,
metabolism is in
I
overdrive.
feel so sleepy.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I was like, I gained like, I don't know, when I woke up, I was like 92 kgs. Today, I went like 5 kilo down.
Oh shit.
Oh
Even
wow.
move.
Yeah,
Crazy.
so I lost a lot of water. I drank a lot, so I lost. But I look much fuller
Metabolism is
than I
on
looked in
fire.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Drew.
look much
Drew,
fuller.
Drew, what's your go-to cheat meal post show?
go-to cheat meal, crumble cookies. I crave sugar. I crave bullshit that you
Shit.
shouldn't be eating. So
That's
it's just not in my prep. It's not in my diet at all. I just I like cheesecake. I like cookies. I like peanut butter. I like just
cheese.
anything that's sugar that's dense. And then once I get it out of my system, I'm back to do another, how many weeks I got to do. So once
If
I
you
get
have
out of my system,
if you have a
yeah.
show if you do back-to-back shows, will you have crumble cookie right after the first?
Oh yeah.
Nah,
That's me. Oh
because it
yeah.
has milk products, bro. What's gonna do is gonna make you very bloated and stuff. You know what
So
I had a cookie right after the show, right after stage. I went to they had
Distended
this
as hell.
thing there. I went and took the biggest one, like the one that looked the best. As soon as I opened and I saw George coming, it's like, what's inside?
Fuck.
And they say there's like some milk products. So he said like, no, 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 we're not gonna eat anything with milk. So I went to like Capital Grill. Everything I ordered had some type of cheese or cream or something. So
Uh,
like I was very limited to what
damn,
I
you're
what I was
that
allowed
structured
to
even.
eat.
I
Yeah,
like that,
because
man.
you don't eat any milk products for such a long time, and then once you
yeah.
start eating it, it's gonna give you like crazy
Yeah, and
bloatness.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I didn't eat any crazy like dairy or anything like that. Not
Yeah,
well dairy, but
which was
milk products. When I did the Arnold and the Boston Pro, and when I did the Boston Pro, that look was
nasty.
nasty.
Do you think that's your best look ever?
No, I
I
Ooh,
think
think you
my
look you
best
look
look.
really good at the Olympia, man. When I saw you there
Olympia
It was
backstage,
'22.
man,
Olympia
crazy.
22 is my pick.
'22 is
Lights
like
out, man. Crazy, man.
I think
that
the
shit was nuts.
lighting. I think the lighting in Boston was elite.
The
Like I,
lighting was sick.
I
The
don't.
lighting at Boston was sick. The
Yeah,
production was just it was all around a good show.
I don't know why. I mean, you probably know. I don't know what happened to that show, but I wish they were still doing it.
Oh God, we ain't even gonna talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get in trouble. My favorite post show meal is sushi. If I have a show shortly after, it'll have to be steak, something clean, sushi, steak, and Brussels sprouts. If I got a couple
Brussels
weeks in,
sprouts. That you can eat in
bro,
prep, bro. Bro,
nah,
I'm from Brussels.
nah,
I'm from Brussels. That's all we see in supermarkets.
bro,
Everywhere you go, they
He's
have
sick of
Brussels
it.
sprouts.
nah. I get it bad. I get a little bit of cheese sprinkled on top of that. I got a lot of
Oh, okay.
olive oil put on top. My shit's
There
nasty.
you go.
Yeah, you got to get it right. You got
I
to get it
Yeah,
thought
right.
that
you
made it
eat
a
like
little bit
Y'all,
better throwing some
y'all
cheese
eat
on
so
there.
boring.
I
Y'all
thought
eat
you
so
eat it like
boring,
boiled
bro.
or something.
Bro, I got a sensitive ass stomach after the show. I got to be careful.
So do
I
I.
got to be
So do
careful.
I, because I try
But
to.
don't you
I
Man,
get
I'm
like
going. I'm going. What?
when you eat sushi, like it doesn't have like too much salt, and the day after you're like all bloated, like all
I don't.
full of water?
I use low sodium soy sauce, but I will say I'm pretty bad because I only get fried sushi, so I get like a shrimp tempura. So that's my guilty pleasure. But I
Yes. The
really
next
try to
day,
keep,
the face looks like
yeah,
this.
bro. Like you can even tell now if I have like a high sodium day because I'm like sodium loading for a test peak.
Yeah,
You can see it. My shit will just be like stretchy. Like it gets weird.
Mm.
that's hilarious.
But
No,
all right,
man,
guys.
I'm going to cheesecake, man. I'm grabbing me some
Oh,
jambalaya. I'm grabbing the starters. I'm grabbing the fried mac and cheese
After
balls. I'm grabbing
Chicago,
the
I went to Cheesecake Factory.
avocado spring rolls. I'm
Oh
going with
fuck
a
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Oreo supreme cheesecake.
That's when you don't have a show the next week.
Yes,
Yeah,
you fuck
don't. Yeah, no, at all.
Yeah.
you fuck your shit up a little bit.
That's why we're eating all
Yeah.
boring over here.
Who do you
Y'all
guys
eating
think is
hella boring.
the best poser in men's physique?
I think it's subjective. Oh man,
Mm,
you could start this one, Banks.
me.
I'll start it. I think the best poser is Ben. I think he has a lot of he knows how to show off his strengths very well. I think it's very simplistic. I think it's very fitting of what the men's physique is. Don't be too flamboyant. Have personality. Get in and out of your
All right.
shots, and be confident in the little things. Right, his facial expressions, his hand movements, all those things. I think play a
Matter.
massive role, and his tempo. Right, very slow and dramatic when needed, and then very quick and in and out of his shots. So I think a lot of young guys watching should model their posing off of Ben because it's more fitting for what amateurs should be doing in terms of in and out of your shot with personality.
Simple, yeah, simple but complex, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Because
gonna say, I'm
amateurs
gonna
only
say,
get
I'm
12,
gonna say personally,
12 seconds.
I like Banks's routine. I think that coming out with the elbow, looking up, hitting the smile, and then getting into it is so smooth and fluent. And then just the
Hmm.
way he rocks on his feet, he's light on his feet, everything fluent, goes to the back. He does the load up. It's almost like he's teasing that back pose because he's got the craziest back in the league. So it's like he plays around with it and then he opens it up, and it's like the holy shit factor. So
Yeah.
I
That
think that,
drama.
yeah,
Banks had
Drama.
I
like
think,
really, really. I like his posing routine as well.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
He messed up so many guys posing routine because I saw like in Europe shows, like these short coming guys coming up. They like this tall and they do this. They hide their whole body. The whole
yeah,
body is hidden under the arm. Like I'm like,
yeah.
bro, when
Right.
Banks do it,
Like
Banks have
when Arnold
long
said in
arms and
Pumping
he only
Iron,
had his
the little
face.
guy.
Not like, yeah, but they would hide their
Yes.
whole chest and abs and everything with
Yeah.
that thing.
That's
So,
crazy.
and also they
I
try to do this back pose and doing this thing.
Everybody tried to do that.
Not
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everybody's EB.
And,
That's
and the
why I
thing
think
is,
you
like
don't see
with
it.
with that back pose, like with my back pose opening up how I used to, I'm not opening up like this anymore. That's just it. I'm still gonna open up here, but it's not gonna be like a
I
freaking
like that.
rainbow.
I like that. I
You
like
know
But
what
that.
I
I
mean?
saw,
So
I, I
we
saw,
gonna
I saw Sidi Pouye. He started the guy from
yeah.
France,
Yep.
He
Spain.
started doing it.
He
Yeah,
did it. It
Yeah.
looked good on him, but I don't think the front shot looked good on him. I also told him I correct his posing a little bit because it
yeah.
was like last minute. But when he started to do the same thing with the back,
He
then
started to pinch his back.
he did
He
good,
started to
but
pinch it.
he pressed too much together and
Yeah.
he messed up his back pose. I told him just do your open your
It
back.
was crazy. I think City could have won Pittsburgh last year if his
He looked
posing was
good.
on. He
Yeah, he
was
looked
on
nasty,
I
dude. He
beat
fire.
him.
looked
I
nasty.
beat him like 9 times. CD.
Shit.
I've been beating him since 2018, man. Every weekend I used to beat him, man.
Wow.
You get sick
Because
of
we
seeing him.
competed.
He's at
I
every
think. I
show.
think. I think. I
City,
think.
I least said step it up, City.
No, no. He know.
Come
He
on
knows me.
now.
He knows me, man.
I
I
know.
have evidence. I
It's
have
funny.
That's
evidence.
the
Yeah, you
thing
just
about men's
elevated
physique, man.
differently.
That is the thing about men's physique. Like it doesn't matter what you did in the past. Like it's in any given Sunday sport. Nobody's safe. The champion is not safe. Like nobody is
Nobody.
safe. It doesn't matter. That's what I do love about what I feel like the division has more transitioned to. To me, I see no politics, especially since Tyler Manion's taken over. Like if you show up off, you're
Man,
off.
if there was politics, do you think a guy from Afghanistan, named Ali Bilal will fucking win Pittsburgh Pro? Who
Yeah,
No,
cares?
no.
Like they
yeah,
would never give it to me. They would give it to some American or someone. Like I
Facts.
have who's watching, who's buying a live from Olympia in Afghanistan? No one, man.
yeah.
I bring like from Afghanistan. There's no value, but I have a lot of like fan base in Europe and India and stuff. But like if it was country thing and politics, I don't know anyone in the sport like who can tell them like, hey, Ali has to win the show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see
it's a
me
good point.
winning on
It's a
the
good point.
classic in the UK and all these other shows because of politics, man. I'm like,
Right.
Agreed. All right.
Show up.
Last
yeah.
question. You mentioned that at the IFBB Elite Pro there was a grand prize of $30,000, and more recently you've seen, with the help of people like Banks, last year Legions, the prize money was something crazy. Now you're seeing Dubai $40,000 prize money. What do you think? This is a question. How long
Thanks
until
is
men's physique
coming.
prize? How
I'm
long do you
Now
here
think?
for it.
in IFBB you have to understand. I don't know if it was 30,000 or how much it was or 20,000. I don't remember anymore. but you had to go to Dubai to collect your first prize money over there. And it was at
Ah,
the end of the year. You only get it at the end of the year. One person got the money. So I think it was like
oh
that.
wow.
So you had to do like 30 shows, and at the end you get
Okay,
like 20,000 or something like that, you
Okay,
know?
that makes sense. So
that
it's a
makes sense.
point
That makes
ranking
sense.
system.
And
Okay.
yeah, in that
Yeah.
shit, there was like, there was like no future. You
Yeah.
could win every. I had, I think, 15 pro cards from them, 15 pro cards. So yeah, and I throw them all out, man. I was like, shit. And every week they would give me a trophy this big. And when I was moving from Belgium to Denmark, I couldn't fit them anymore. I throw them all
Lost
out.
them. That's
I
crazy.
was like,
Keep the
gone
ones
with
that
this shit.
matter now. Just keep the ones that matter.
Yeah,
Got that
The
these
same
ones
shirt.
that
trophies and
matter.
medals, they give you value. There's Olympia, and the good thing about NPC is there's always someone better than you,
Yeah,
and it
yeah, and
keeps you
that's the thing.
motivated. And there's always there is someone better, so you don't go home and you sit on your ass and you're like, okay, I'm the best. I just want to show. There's
Yeah,
someone
Yeah.
better, and there's someone better than that person, and there's one better than that one.
Yep.
So
yeah,
Facts.
you never that close. You always have to work really, really, really hard to be the best. And even if you're the best, Chris Bumstead, right now, you think there's some guy sitting somewhere working his ass off to beat him? Of course.
Absolutely.
yeah.
You're
Exactly.
not
Yep.
you're not relaxed. Even if you win 5-time Olympia, you're not relaxed. You cannot just say,
Nothing's
okay,
guaranteed.
I'm gonna put some extra sauce. I'm gonna do some this. If you win Olympia, banks know
Some
this.
extra
I think this
theremin. That's
feeling. I think it becomes much more harder for you. When
It
you're
is.
champion, it's like for me, I don't care going to Olympia this year, man. I'm gonna work my ass off and I'm gonna go. I will have no stress. I get first call out, I'm happy. I get second call out, I'm also happy. I get top three, I'm very, very happy. I get fifth place, I'm also very grateful and happy. But banks need to be first, you know,
hmm
better than what he was last year. And that gives you
Yeah.
so much stress and it makes it
Yeah.
so much harder for you. Us going to Olympia is no problem. We are like, and that makes
Yeah.
it easier for the
I see what
champion,
you're talking about.
and it makes
Yeah.
it
Staying on
easier.
top of that mountain's harder because you got
Yeah,
all
it
these
Harder.
guys
makes
gunning
it
after
makes
you.
it, and we all think like, oh, we're gonna win Olympia and that's it, and then we have done it. Nah, you
No,
have to keep that
you need
title,
two.
and how long
You
can
need
you hold
three.
it? And how long can you hold it?
Yep.
Yep.
Seriously. So what do you guys think is it gonna take for bigger or shows, just pro shows in general, to increase their prize money for the men's physique division? We're seeing it happen more and more, but in the same breath, we're still, lacking behind every single division practically. So is there anything specifically that you guys could think of that's going to help really springboard men's physique?
What we're
You
doing
got to
right
get
now.
this, but you also got to get these top guys off their ass and start competing to bring people to these shows. That's why they raise the money to see Aaron Banks. Win or lose, they're going to see Aaron Banks at the Legion Sports Festival,
Yeah,
regardless
Exactly.
of whatever show it is. We have to move the division. We can't sit there and be like, well, I'm qualified. Like I would say like the top Olympians, like a Brandon, Ryan, Ray's kind of like my dog. He done. He ain't getting back on. He ain't
Don't
getting
say
back on
that.
the
Don't
circuit.
say that.
Jeremy, like us 6 Olympians. Well, let's take Mark and Ray out because they're not competing.
Yeah, Chiron,
Um,
Corey, the top
we
dog.
the
They all have
bigger
their own
names
fan
have
base. Yeah.
to the
yeah.
bigger names have to get up and compete. And it
Yeah.
and it ain't just, oh, let Aaron Banks just go compete. Aaron Banks, get people involved to compete against you. You see what I'm
Gets
saying? Like,
Being an
exciting.
ambassador.
The
Yeah.
show gets
got to.
exciting. People buy more lives, so they also make something out of it. If
Right.
Yeah.
if like if Banks doesn't go, Banks have 450,000 followers. I have 350, 370,000. If 5% of my people buys online the view, it brings money to the show. It brings money from Banks followers. If there's a guy with 2,000 followers going to a show, he doesn't bring any value to the show.
Yeah. I
He might have a good shape, but he don't bring any value, any excitement to the show. Now, I'm going
Right.
to New York Pro. There's me. There's like, I think in total there's like 2 million followers combined.
Yeah,
So
easily.
imagine 1% of us, our followers. All my followers are so fucking hyped up. You know, they so want to see me on stage.
Bro,
You
you're
know,
getting
they
50,000 plus likes a photo. Like it's
Yeah,
crazy
bro, I
right
get
now.
like
it's
60,
wild.
70,000 people watch my story. So they're all excited and they're all loyal people. And so they're going to buy the lives, you know?
Yeah,
And
I
that's
think
going
the
to bring money to
IFBB.
the show and makes the show exciting. And, you know, you give something back to the show. Going to the show and taking the prize money, even if it's 3,000, you don't bring any value to the show. You know, you still got money for nothing.
I think
And
the
not even just
IFBB.
being a physique. You got to be able to talk. Your fans want to hear
Yes,
from you, not just look
yes,
at you. They want to hear from
Yeah.
you. What do you got to say? What does Ali got to say? Your interview was great. I honestly
phenomenal.
didn't know you spoke English before the show.
I
I didn't
learned it
know.
3 years ago.
And well, look how
I
Really?
good
didn't
you are
spoke a
at it.
word. I didn't spoke a word of English. Do you know that? I was just talking to JM earlier in an interview. I met my wife. She's Danish. When I
Hmm.
started writing with her, I couldn't write, man. I had to go Google Translate, write in Dutch,
That's
translate it
crazy.
to English, send it to her. And then 3 years, I just left Belgium. I went to a country where I didn't speak a word of, you know, that country. So I start talking with my wife in English instead because I want to improve my English. Now, if you are IFBB Pro, you want to speak. You know, you just don't want to
Yeah.
go and say merci or whatever language that no one understands. You know,
Yep.
so
Facts,
you
man.
also bring value to the sport. Like Hardy, you know, Hardy is a great champion, but if you need to have a translator with you all the time on
Yes.
stage, man, makes it very difficult.
And your fan base expands. So not only do you have people following you from your country, 300,000, you'll probably be at 400, 500, 600.
Yeah,
It's expanding and you're able to interact with these people. So it's
yeah.
it's a
I,
good choice that you're making being an
yeah.
ambassador, not only as an
I
athlete and Olympian, but being able to talk to these people and give back.
So three years back, I only spoke English with my wife. My English got better every month, better and better and better. And now I can talk like for hours, you know. I
Hey, that's
speak
Well,
I
good though.
no, I speak
hey, you're
Dutch.
good at it.
I speak
The
yeah.
list is out.
The list
Oh,
it
I
just
List.
dropped
speak
You
the
Dutch.
list.
I speak English. I speak
Oh, we're gonna
Hindi.
be
I
on here for
speak
a little bit. Hold
Persian. I
on.
No,
speak
we're not. No, we're
only
not.
six languages.
how you speak 6 languages?
6 languages fluent.
That's
Damn, dude.
insane. See, that's gonna allow.
Where'd you get
Listen,
that at?
That's crazy. I'm gonna take some
I'll
classes from
I'll
you.
send it to the
I
group.
had an empty brain, bro. I'd never been to school, so I had all the space. You know, I pick up very fast.
You never
So
been to school,
I
but you
speak
got,
Persian. I
six
speak
languages.
Persian. I speak Persian. So Iran is a very big country. You know, Iran,
Yeah, Jeremy
Afghanistan, they
Coleman
love
doing it.
sport. Who?
Yeah, that's
Um,
crazy, bro.
Jeremy Coleman, he's competed a handful of
Oh,
times
I
this
thought
this
Jeremy
year.
Potvin.
Oh, so now it's still torn. Um, listen, I think the IFBB is doing amazing things. I think, like for example, what they're doing with the Pittsburgh Pro next year, turning it into an expo. I think the expo, or what
I
they're
love
hyping
that.
up for the 60th anniversary for the Olympia. I think they're really doing some really good things, raising prize money, getting new sponsors involved. One thing I think they are missing though is the online presence, making an app that they can now live stream from one app, and then all of the fans and they pay a subscription like $250, or even if it's $50 a month, right? One-time payments or monthly payments, and then each athlete gets a code of their last name, and then that athlete can get 10% of that revenue, and they start pushing it because we don't push it, like we
Does
don't
Bro,
that
push
they
it.
don't
exist
care
already?
about us making money.
Does
Yeah,
that
but like
exist already? Man, I need
no,
to
but
make some money this week.
but imagine if it did, because if they did that,
Oh,
athletes would be pushing it, right? And then not only that, they'll get sponsors like coaching team. Coach Cuts is going to sponsor that, right? You're going to have a lot of people wanting to put their name on there. When there's a coaching section, they go on, they check it out. Like there's a lot of missed opportunity online that I think they could do a better job of doing. But there's
well.
clear growth from where they all were to where they are now. So I think really what they're doing is pretty fucking dope.
If you see NPC shows like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, we had zero shows in Europe. Now
Mm.
every country had at least 4 or 5 shows a year. Every country. There's no
Yeah.
more sign of IFBB anymore in Europe. Nothing. All the shows like done. Everyone switched to NPC. So like NPC is getting really big in Europe. You see so many shows. There's this weekend. There was like yesterday. There was a show in Spain.
Mhm.
There's like next week Poland. There's a Poland next week. There's a week after.
Yeah.
So like
Tyler
Spain
May.
again. There's Italy, I think. There's like every weekend a show in Europe. It's
Yep,
very
Tyler
easy to
Manning
qualify
heading
over
out
there,
there in
man.
June.
Hmm?
Listen, and Tyler Manning's heading out there in June to judge a few shows.
Flex
So
weekend, yeah, flex weekend.
yes,
That's the one I won last year.
so that tells you, man, like it's growing. Listen, Ali, I want to thank you for hopping on, man. At the end of
Thank
the
you so
day,
much.
you know, having you on a champion, explaining their process, their mindset after the show. Like I said, man, I think your redemption story is everything. One, placing ninth place at the Olympia in 2022, and then placing 16th in 2023, placing fifth at Pittsburgh last year, and now coming home, taking home the prestigious title, man. And one thing I'll tell you about you, man, is you are somebody who has proven the fact that when they get knocked down, they only rise to the occasion. So, again, it was an honor to have you on here, brother. And
Thank you so
Pittsburgh
much, man.
Pro,
I'm kind
Pittsburgh
of
Pro.
jealous, to be honest with you.
Bro,
I
you're
don't got
nothing
no,
to
I
be
don't,
jealous of,
I
bro.
don't got no Pittsburgh Pro title, so I might have to see you there next year.
Yeah.
They
Next
got the
year, bro,
Expo
we'll
too.
compete together, man. Hell yeah.
With the
Let's
I
do it.
wanted
expo
to
and
do Dubai.
everything.
I
Yeah.
wanted to do Dubai Pro, bro. Honestly, I really wanted to do that
You
show.
should.
Yeah, they asked me actually, to come. So,
Thinking
but the
about it.
thing is, I would not have. I really want to improve my back, man, for Olympia.
Yeah.
And
See, that's
if I'm
smart.
gonna do Dubai Pro, I'm gonna go back into, like, I'm gonna stay on cycle 10 more weeks,
Yep.
and then I won't have any more time to go off cycle for Olympia. I won't have
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
time
I'm
to
glad.
improve.
I'm glad you're one of the smart ones.
You're
I
That's
smart,
don't.
man.
I won't
exactly
have any
that's
time to
exactly what
improve.
my whole approach to it too. I was planning on doing it, and I'm like, what's the point? It's
If
almost
I
like
get
focus on
second
the show
with
that
you,
matters.
if I get second with you, Banks, I'm gonna get 20K over there, and my flights, everything is like paid. Still, I don't care about the money, but I
Man.
just want to improve, man. Like, money comes and goes.
Absolutely.
I want to take
Yeah.
my time off, and I want to improve. I want, if I win Pittsburgh and New York, I have nothing to prove, man. I'm good to go, and
Not many people can say that.
I know I have weak points, and I can make them better. And if I have 6 months of time, I can improve,
And
man.
you know that, though, a lot of people don't want to take the
No,
time to
I
do
know.
that. They just want to do
No,
show
of
after show.
course.
But you know that, so that's what separates you from these other guys.
I know I need to take some time off and improve my chest and my back. So
And
when I
spend some
come back
time
to
with your
Olympia,
family.
it looks better, man. I
And
still
spend
need
some
to go on
time.
honeymoon, man.
Yeah, all right,
Yeah, go
bro.
I
on.
have it
I'm
planned
gonna
next
Get
week,
out of
man.
here.
I have
Well,
it
how about
planned
this?
next week.
Come to Dubai for your honeymoon. It's beautiful over there, right?
Now
just stay
by
You
that
can come
time,
watch
strategic.
the
man,
show.
I'm deep in prep, bro. I'm deep in prep by that time.
I love it,
It
man.
it has to
Well,
be the first 2 weeks, and I'm gone after prep again.
There
listen,
you
brother.
go. There you go.
We appreciate you. We wish you nothing but the best in New York. Thank you for hopping on NPR, man. And
Bro, come
again,
to India.
you know what? I'm gonna reach out to you right after this because
I will
I'm
be there. Anything you need, man. Anything, man. You will have security guards with you and stuff like that.
That's it.
Bro, you're gonna feel like last year you saw my videos, bro. I had like security guards, like 3, 4 guards, like walking with me. You're gonna feel like, president over
That's
there.
sick.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
That's
I'm gonna look up the show dates, and as long as it doesn't
You come back,
go
you
too
come
far,
back with 50K followers guarantee.
NPR is gonna blow up, fellas.
Oh yeah.
Bro,
go.
Gotta do
Let's
it
get it.
overseas. Take it over
Let's
international.
go, baby.
yeah.
All right, brother. Yo, Ali, I will reach out to you
Thank you so
personally.
much,
And
bro. Thank you.
thank you guys. And
Thank you.
Appreciate
again, one hell of
Thanks
an
for being
episode.
on,
Champ,
brother. Appreciate it.
good talking to you, man. Good luck at Dubai Pro. Get that
pleasure.
40K. Get that 40K.
Thanks, brother.
Put in the bank, and then 50K at the Olympia. You have 90K, man.
All
Enjoy.
right.
Yeah.